Hello and welcome. Today we'll be creating a low poly tree asset for our games. If you like the video, please subscribe and like and drop a comment below. So let's begin. For our reference, let's add a plane, and by default this is going to be 2 by 2 meter, and that is way too large. Let's reduce it to about 1 meter square. And first we are going to create a texture for our branches. For that we'll use this plane as a reference. Let's move it a bit down on the z-axis, and going into the top view, let's now create a branch. Create a bezier curve, go into the edit mode, and let's move these points and create the branches. For getting the thickness to the curve, let's go into the curve options, go into the geometry, and let's enable depth. And let's fill the caps as well. So now we want to make the diameter of the branch non-uniform, and you can do that by selecting one of the points. Press Ctrl S, and now you can reduce the size. Let's now create more branches. I'm going to duplicate this point and now extrude it. Now once you're happy with the branch layout, we now need to add the leaves. Let's get a UV sphere and let's shade smooth it. Rotate it on the x-axis by 90 degrees. And in the top view, let's reduce the size, make it more flat. And by using the proportional editing, make it more elongated. This looks good. Let's reduce the size in the z-axis a bit more. And you're done. So now you can go into the top view. Let's reset the origin for the leaf to right about here, so that it will be easier for us to move and rotate these objects in the 3D space. So go into the edit mode, let's select this last vertex, and let's move the cursor to the selected, And then let's move the origin to a 3D cursor. So now if I rotate it, it is going to rotate along its origin, which is now at the correct spot. Let's move it up a bit so it is touching the branch. Now let's resize it. Make the leaf sizes non-uniform, just randomize them a bit. Let's rename this collection to texture. Once you are satisfied with the layout of the branch and the leaves, you need to convert the curves into meshes. So let's select the curve, and I'm going to, or rather press W, and then you can convert it into a mesh. Once you do, and then select these objects and press Ctrl J to make it a single object. Okay, now let's duplicate this object and let's scale it on the x-axis to -1. This will flip the object on the x-axis. Let's now rotate it a bit and let's make it so that it's above the other object. Let's reduce the size a bit. It will also be helpful if we move its origin to the base. So let's go into the edit mode and let's move it here. So now if I rotate it, it's going to rotate on the around its base. So let's scale it down a bit. Let's make another duplicate. I'm satisfied with the current shape, so let's move on to texturing. We texture all the leaves green and then the stem as brown. Let's color the leaves and the stem now. Let's make two materials. You can combine these objects into a single object and then go into the edit mode. And by hovering your mouse on an object and pressing L, this will select all the stems. And let's assign the stem material. Select one of the leaves, then go into the select and select similar. Select face regions. This will select all the leaves, and let's assign the leaves material to this. Let's brighten up the colors a bit. Okay, we are ready to bake our texture. Let's add a camera. Go into the camera view and let's change the camera to orthographic, and let's adjust the size. This looks okay. Now what we need to do is we need to bake two of the passes. One of the pass is the diffuse color and the other is the ambient occlusion. Select these two and then press F12. The plane is showing. Let's disable its rendering. Press F12 again. This is the diffuse color and this is the ambient occlusion, which is not showing. Let's enable it. And let's make the background transparent. Okay, now the ambient occlusion is showing up and we have the diffuse color. Now I need to do a bit of compositing. So let's enable nodes, and now we need to combine the ambient occlusion and the diffuse color to get our map. Since the passes are rendered separately, we need to combine these. Okay, so let's multiply the diffuse color and the ambient occlusion. Let's add a mix node. And let's add the blend mode to multiply. And add the ambient occlusion and diffuse color. We need to remove the black background. Let's add a chroma key, and change the key color to black. And let's render that out. Let's save the image. For the plane that we added in the beginning, let's go into the top view, adjust the size of the plane so it's a little bit larger than the branches that we made. Go into the edit mode, and with the knife tool, let's cut the profile of the branches. Select all the outer polygons and then just delete those. Let's make some cuts so that the once you're done with the loops, let's now UV unwrap this. Select everything and you press U, and let's project from view, and let's add our diffuse map. Try to fit it to the texture. Let's add a new material. And let's add the image texture. Now you can see that it's not ignoring the black parts. So we need to go into the materials settings, and we need to change the blend mode to something other than opaque. So let's select alpha hashed, and same goes for the shadow mode. We need to provide it with a alpha map as well. And to render the alpha map, you can go into the compositing, and by default the render layers renders a alpha map, which you can use for our purpose. So I'll link it to the composite, and let's render, and let's save it to a local folder. Go into the shading mode, and let's add another node. Open the alpha map in this node, and now you can see that our alpha map is working. In the EV settings, go into the shadows and let's increase cube size and cascade size and enable hybrid depth. This will enable high quality shadows. Go into the layout again. Let's hide this plane for now, and before that let's rename it to branches. And the front view, let's add another curve. Go into the edit mode. And for our reference, let's create a cube. And let's make it about 3 meters tall. Now adjust our curves. We are going to create the tree stem and branches with the curve tool. Let's delete the reference cube. And apply the wood material to, or the stem material to this. This is our tree. And let's bring back our branches. I'm going to start from the top and same as with our other objects. I'm going to move the origin to the base here. Let's keep the blend mode to alpha clip. And let's go into the edit mode and select the middle vertex. And when you have the proportional editing enabled, let's give it a bit more spherical shape. Adjust the origin again. And I'll just duplicate this and place them at the appropriate locations. So this is a pretty easy way to create really high quality textures and assets for games, especially those uh, games where the camera is looking directly down, isometric games or third-person games. Hopefully you liked the video, and if you did, please like and subscribe and comment below. See you in the next video.